They call it the loneliness epidemic. Studies, podcasts, think pieces all saying the same thing. People in their midlives, especially men, are more disconnected than ever. Our friendships are thinning out. Our third spaces are disappearing. Remote work keeps us at home, and romantic partners are expected to carry the emotional weight of an entire village. But it doesn't have to be like this. Esther Perel blames social atrophy. Apparently, we're simply out of practice with making friends in our 40s. Amanda Mull laments the loss of small, everyday connections, like the friendly barista, the after-school parent group, the running buddy, quiet ties that once gave our lives texture. And Anne Helen Peterson describes the midlife friendship dip, a phase where old friendships fade, but new ones haven't yet arrived. And so, here I am in what Peterson calls the portal, that point in your 40s when you realise your old social world is gone and you have to decide, do you build a new one or let yourself drift? I'm in that portal right now, but somehow I made a new friend. Mick and I met through work. Since then we've become close. We speak every week, and every few months we go hiking. This time I'm taking a camera and we're going to talk about friendship. How to find it, how to make it, how to keep it. This is how to make friends in your 40s.
So today I am going to pick up Mick from Arnhem. We are going to go on a long hike around the big national park here. It's a really beautiful place, been here a couple of times. So I was thinking this morning that I don't really remember when we became friends, how we moved from being people who knew each other in a professional capacity to, I guess, calling each other friends. So I thought today would be really fun to try and explore that with him, to try and understand the nature of our friendship, the nature of friendship more generally, and to try and understand how it is that you can make friends during this friendship gap in your life. Maybe if you're entering the portal or about to. Mick is like 10 years younger than me or so he's maybe entering the portal, and I am definitely in the middle of it. And so yeah, just thought I'd find out more from him about what he values in our friendship, but also friendships more generally, and maybe that will be interesting. Okay, so I need to pack for the trip. I'm going to take everything out, get it back. Space blanket, very important. Everyone thinks I'm an idiot for taking a space blanket, but they're amazing. Plastic bag for some rubbish. All important compass. People think I'm an idiot for taking a compass. Got some snacks in the kitchen, loads of water. I think we're nearly ready. Let's go and pick up Mick.
Who's this guy? What's going on? It's a beautiful day.
The three things I expect, or I'm looking for in friends, is just genuine curiosity and interest in what the other person is doing.
That was the first one on my list as well. Like curiosity. I just felt like it was a really important.
Yeah.
It's just a really important value, and it maybe comes back to the you and me both being multi-potentialites and like.
Yeah, it could be interest in a tiny element or a thing I mention, or. I always appreciate it if someone sort of remembers something that I said and then looked into it, or actually checked out a project that I worked on, or actually read the magazine that I gave them or something. Like, I genuinely appreciate that, because that for me feels like genuine interest and curiosity into what the other person is doing. I know that I have a lot of energy to give. I know I have quite some attention to give. I know people from, without sounding weird about it, but I know people really appreciate it in the past, but also right now appreciate me as a friend. So I'm okay with that sort of dynamic sometimes being a bit off. So I don't expect that back.
I think like patience is a really important value with a friendship, and it's partly because it's like understanding that friendships are to an extent seasonal, in the fact that like sometimes they'll go through a period of like high growth where you'll like learn a lot about each other and be able to spend a lot of time, and then some points like friendships settle down into this, well, we're not learning anything new about each other right now, but it's just like nice to hang out. Like, I feel like you and me are still learning actually quite a lot about each other. And it's like, and so then you have the thrill of like, wow, this person contains layers. This is interesting. And you and I talk about that and understand that we have a different enough set of experiences and perspectives that, like, you always, for me anyway, you always say something really, you always have just a really interesting take on this. And it's not a take for just the sake of having an opinion, it's something born of you having done a lot of thinking about a thing.
Something I really enjoyed in our friendship is that it's it was a slow growth, slow productivity thing, whereas back in the, I guess like 5 or 10 years ago, you know, you want to chase highs, go out with, like, have a drink with people, and then you make these really nice connections, or you go on a trip or this and that, and like you build friendships around that. And ours was just really first, you know, these work-based check-ins that then grew into genuine interest into what the other was doing, and then this sort of weekly call to actually sort of see, okay, how has your life been, and how you're feeling about this or that, and that sort of slow building and slow sort of developing, slow moving friendship is actually something I really enjoy in how we built this.
Every now and again I'll meet somebody somewhere, which is increasingly rare because I'm like doing the parenting thing or the work thing and like not living somewhere where I bump into loads of new people. But we'll go to a party, birthday party of a kid or whatever from a mutual acquaintance, and just be this really funny kind of thing where like me or my partner, like, we'll just meet somebody and have almost like a kind of friendship crush on them immediately, of just like,
yeah,
this is just really funny, like, we just get on so well, oh my god, you're amazing. But then at the end of the party, it's like there's just a realization that's like there's no way we're gonna find time to be friends, and there's no place for us to connect on this. So we had a lovely time, but it's like a holiday romance where it's like, yeah, this was beautiful, but we've both got lives to go back to now. I appreciate it. Appreciate it very much. Yeah? We're nearly back to the start of the trail after 66 kilometres of walking. That's a lot. Yeah, I definitely think that it has got harder than it maybe used to be 20 or 30 years ago to meet people. Work is less structured. We don't have like church or like social clubs or community things in the same way. Or as you say, these third spaces like bars and things, they just don't exist in the way that they used to.
What I really felt like I'm getting out of our friendship is really sort of like, inspiration on a work level. Like, you've worked in the same field as I am working in. You've gone through another loop or two with like setting up a business or selling a business or building it out into something else. But also inspiration in, okay, I'm at a stage in my life where I actually want to slow things down a bit. I've moved around quite a bit, but now I'm with a partner and we're living in city with friends that we're really happy with. I'm actually want to sort of, look at how to set up my life a bit differently. And you actually gave me, just not by sort of saying, here's some advice, but more like actually talking about how your life has been. You've gone through something, and obviously you're still exploring parts of that, but it made me super, just interested in how you've done it, and it's really inspiring.
I often had friends who were older than me for a lot of my life. 10 years older, 15 years older, whatever, and I always really appreciated some of the things from them.
Yeah.
You've been an entrepreneur for 10 years.
Exactly,
and you've been running your own business for 10 years more, and you've set up your own non-profit, and you have had this very entrepreneurial spirit. And I'm now entering a bit of my life where that's become my main focus. I suppose that, so it's more about the experience that you have and had, and also the changes, right? You're on this threshold of a change, as you just said, about settling down, and you're about to change job, and there's other stuff happening, and I've kind of been in that process. And maybe there's just there's someone else going through a big life change here. There's a lot of stuff that I really I think it's amazing that you do, the way that you make space for things and the way you prioritize things. Like your trip to Japan, I think was just like, I would not have been able to give myself permission to do that at all. But I recognize like what a just an amazingly cool thing that is.
Also, the little nudges that we can give each other that otherwise you might have not opened that door. But for instance, the fellowship that we both applied for.
Yeah.
Like a little nudge, like, hey, there are opportunities out there, there are things out there. That is also really nice in a friendship, that people genuinely sort of,
looking out for
each
should
other.
think about this. Yeah, definitely.
Or with the YouTube channel.
Yeah. I mean, exactly. And I think because some of those opportunities are things that you more readily, for whatever reason, would be willing to take. I think you're just, whether it's in your personality or stage you're at in your life, are less risk averse.
It's definitely a thing. A lot of my friends appreciate that. Like when they speak with me, I'm like, oh, but this is something you could do, or this is like, I genuinely am sort of that type of energizer for them. I think that is really sort of a dynamic that I have with many of my friendships, but I actually, that's why I say I really appreciate it if that comes back. And that for me is a reciprocal friendship that I'm really looking for, and that I found with you. From a work relationship and interest to an actual really close friend now, which is, I don't know, something that is pretty special. It's something special that you get to share that with a new person.
It would have been really easy for it to not happen, given, again, how busy we are. Do you believe in that? Like, that you have to work on friendships?
100%.
I find my attitude on this changes a bit.
It shouldn't be.
Right.
Like
because
this
I don't
reciprocal.
Feel like I've ever had to work on our relationship.
But that's what I mean. It's a reciprocal. Like, we both got something out of it, and it's like genuine interest and attention to each other, interest in each other's lives, and that's when a friendship really is a double-edged sword. In the best way possible. And when it's not, it can be work, and that can happen for a bit. Obviously, someone can go through a rough patch for even years, and you have to give maybe a bit more energy to them than they can give to you.
Helen Peterson talks about, in my culture study article about friendship, where she talks about this kind of the friendship dip, and then specifically this portal, this age of the portal that happens around 40, which is where that friendship dip has kind of reached its peak, and you really have to make concrete decisions on like older friendships, I guess. But then also new ones as well.
Right.
And you have to probably make a decision to be more active, like proactive in seeking out those relationships and working on them. This stuff makes me feel I feel a little weird about it. It's because I have for a while like tried to optimize friendships. I feel like I've spent a part of my life where I was trying to
CRM it.
A bit.
Yeah.
You know, like thinking of like, okay, how do I improve this relationship? Have I got enough friends? How am I going to like push these friends forward, like these friendships forward? And it ended up becoming quite a soulless task. I do think, especially like a marriage or a life partnership, you have to do the work to continually reassess like where you're at, how you're both feeling. Are you getting out of the partnership what you both need and want?
Yeah, and I think with family or romantic relationships or partners, you understand that it's a long-term game, or at least you want it to be a long-term game. And with friends, you also understand that.
I've 3 takeaways from the hike and from our friendship that I think anyone who feels like they're in a friendship dip in their 30s or 40s can learn from. Firstly, the best midlife friendships aren't built on intensity. They're built on patience. There's a quiet joy in slowly discovering someone, realizing that they still contain surprises, that they're still growing, and so are you. The right friend helps you feel seen as you are, but also nudges you kindly towards who you're becoming. Secondly, the heart of any good friendship, for me, is curiosity. Not just small talk or shared interests, but genuine interest in who the other person is becoming. It's remembering what matters to them, asking follow-up questions, reading the thing that they made, not because you have to, but because you actually want to know. Curiosity is how we say you matter to me. And finally, I've learned that friendship in midlife is about intention more than it is about optimization. The moment you start managing your friendships like a to-do list or a growth plan, something gets lost. You have to work at it, sure, but the friendships that matter are the ones built slowly, naturally over time, where effort doesn't feel like effort, but feels like a kind attention, where both people make space, where both people show up. Whether that's on a hike or in your DMs, you both show up. Thanks for being here. Likes and subscribes are much appreciated. See you next time.